Tonight, new Lanterns cast, Kevin Smith writes Marvel again, Star Wars Hunters ends, and Disney stockholders say yes to DEI. All that and more on this edition of Multiverse Tonight! Welcome to Multiverse Tonight, your source for geek news. We dissect films, games, comics, and much more, bringing you insightful commentary on pop culture. This is Multiverse Tonight. Now, here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello again, and welcome to episode, it's 235 of Multiverse Tonight. I'm, of course, your host, Thomas Townley. And I had a fun weekend last weekend. You can tell by my voice, I got a little of the con crud at the con this week. Yeah, went to the first edition of the Kansas Comic Con out in Wichita, Kansas, which is, just 40 miles to the west. So it was, pretty much my hometown con since the Comic Con, the Smallville Comic Con up in Hutchinson ended, and a good time. It was, not a large Comic Con, not a small Comic Con, so it was good size. I have very few complaints about it. I mean, I wish there was more. I wish there was any comic book stores there. The vendor wares, but it's the first year, and Planet Comic Con was just the other day, just this past weekend. So that was a big one in Kansas City. So there might have been a slight, conflict between, can I, schlep all my wares up there after schlepping them down here? So who knows? I did get a few autographs. I got Billy West. All right, I got the gray Delisle. I got the voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog, Marty Grabstein. He was great. Him, Gray, and Billy are if you get their autographs, they are great. They will talk with you. They'll do voices. I mean, they're great. I got of course, the Big Red Machine Kane from WWE, and then Townsend Coleman, who most of you will probably remember from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really prefer him to remember him as the Tick, the original Tick from the animated series. Spoon! Ta-da! And he was great too. He was a nice guy to talk to. There were plenty of our guests. There's a couple Star Trek guests there. There's Emily Swallow from you might know her as the Armorer from The Mandalorian, and a lot of our voice talent. Lex Luger was there. Yeah, so it was a great time, and it from what I'm hearing, it sounds like they're going to have one next year, which I look forward to with great anticipation. It was fun, despite having to walk all the way from walk a mile to get to the convention center, because parking in downtown Wichita is a mess. It's always been a mess. But that's par for the course when you do Comic Con sometimes. Anyway, let's go on to the DC Comics news. And DC Comics news begins with Sherman Augustus from Stranger Things, who is set for a key recurring role in Lanterns, the HBO drama series based on the Green Lantern comic book. He joins Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre and series regular Kelly MacDonald. The series from Chris Mundy, Damon Lindelof, and Tom King follows new recruit John Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. Augustus will play John Sr., who is John Stewart's father and the human embodiment of Stubborn, In his own reality, he tends to fixate on the past and what could have been. The 8-episode Lanterns is produced by HBO in association with Warner Brothers Television and DC Studios. Mundy, who serves as showrunner, Lindelof and King are co-writing and executive producing, and James Hawes is directing the first 2 episodes and also executive producing. Now, Augustus recurs on Netflix's Stranger Things, which has aired its 5th and final season later this year, and recently starred in the feature film The Banality. It was also a series regular on AMC's Into the Badlands, and recurred and guest starred on HBO's Westworld, USA's Colony, NBC's American Odyssey, and AMC's Low Winter Sun. Past series regular credits include ABC's Marlowe and Fox's Prophet. So there's a little Lanterns news for you. We also have joining the cast Jason Ritter for a recurring role in Lanterns. Ritter will play a character named Billy Macon in the series based on the DC Green Lantern. Billy is described as, quote, a good-looking charmer who does his father's bidding, capitalizing on his family's reputation. He clings to his small-town reputation and his ego and has everything to lose. Now, Billy's father, William Macon, is being played by Garrett Delahunt. William is a self-righteous and conspiracy-minded and ruthlessly ambitious man who hides his darker side behind a charming facade. Kyle Chandler and, of course, Aaron Pierre star in Lanterns. You know, that show seems interesting. It's supposed to it's supposed to be filming now, so it'll be interesting to see, what comes of it. Ritter, of course, currently stars alongside Kathy Bates in CBS's Matlock, and has a guest role in the forthcoming second season of Peacock's Poker Face. Now, let's go on to the Marvel Comics news. Marvel news begins with Kevin Smith, who is swinging back into the Marvel Universe more than 25 years after the Clerks and Mallrats filmmaker revived and relaunched Marvel's Daredevil for the Marvel Knights imprint in 1998. Smith is bringing giant-sized Spider-Man back with a new giant-sized one-shot this summer. Giant Amazing Spider-Man #1 will feature a story by Smith and Amazing Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man artist Giuseppe Giamicoli, joining a roster of superstar creators that include Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, Mark Buckingham, and Cafu. Quote, everyone always says giant-size X-Men this and giant-size X-Men that, and I'm sick of it, so we put together the best and coolest giant-sized book ever, said Marvel's Spider-Man editor Nick Lowe in a statement. Kevin Smith and Giuseppe Giamicoli spin an instant classic. Al Ewing and Mark Buckingham use Spidey as a prism to the whole Marvel Universe and its history. Chip Zdarsky and Cafu bring you the coolest new Marvel character in recent memory who throws Spidey for a loop, and that's not even all. Unquote. Now, Lowe stops short of spoiling that artist Greg Capullo's star-studded cover teases, quote, a new character that will change the future of Marvel Comics, who will make their debut in a tale from Zdarsky and Cafu. Now, Smith and Giamicoli's Spider-Man's Fantastic Four story will have your heart beating in overdrive and your sides hurting from how much you're laughing, according to the synopsis, which describes Ewing and Cunningham's story as, quote, a decade-spanning adventure, unquote. Now, featuring some of Spider-Man's best friends. Now, Smith followed his 10-issue stint on Daredevil Volume 2 with a wordless story in Marvel's 9/11 tribute, Moment of Silence, and 2002's Daredevil/Bullseye, The Target #1, the first and only issue released of what was supposed to be a 4-issue miniseries. Now, Smith also scripted Spider-Man/Black Cat, The Evil That Men Do, a limited series that released 6 issues between 2002 and 2006. In 2005, Smith explained the infamous years-long delay in a post published to his View Askew Universe message board, saying, quote, I have zero defense for my lateness, particularly when folks like Brian Michael Bendis turn out great stories in multiple books on a monthly basis. I will say this. It's a much better story now than it would have been if I had completed it back in '02. But judge that for yourselves when it comes out, or don't believe me. And I understand the folks were like, "Leap him for making me wait 3 years. I ain't buying it." Giant size, Amazing Spider-Man #1 goes on sale June 11th from Marvel Comics. Now let's check in to the Star Wars universe.
Roger, Roger.
Dr. Aphra fans can rejoice. Dr. Chinley Lona Aphra, everyone's favorite space archaeologist, is returning to Marvel's Star Wars comic this summer in a brand new ongoing series. The series, entitled Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent, will feature Dr. Aphra teaming up with at least one beloved character from the original Star Wars trilogy. In June, solicitations released by Marvel, it was revealed that Cherish Chen will be writing the Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent with Gabriel Guzman as the artist. Set in the New Republic era on the heels of Return of the Jedi, Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent will follow Chili Alana Aphra and Luke Skywalker on a hunt for a rare artifact. Aphra frequently crossed paths and fought against Darth Vader in the comics. Considering the Empire is no longer around during the time frame of the upcoming series, one can only speculate who Aphra and Luke will be up against. Though the early days of the New Republic factors into the live-action Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, the comics have not fully explored this era. Alex Segura's upcoming Star Wars series, debuting on May 7th, is set in the same period as Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent, and this builds up as a potential for the characters besides Luke Skywalker to appear in the Aphra series, as well as including maybe Leia Organa and Han Solo. The official synopsis for the series reads, quote, "Out from the shadow of Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra returns, and in all new outgoing series featuring the rogue archaeologist as she makes her way throughout the galaxy in the era of the New Republic. Aphra must team up with Luke Skywalker to track down a rare artifact. And what will she do when her tattoos no longer function? After back-to-back hit 40-issue runs set during the original trilogy, Aphra embarks on her most unpredictable adventure in a galaxy far, far away as it transforms in the wake of the Battle of Jakku. With her crimes pardoned, Aphra is enlisted by her friend Luke Skywalker to put her treasure hunting skills to good use on behalf of the New Republic. Writer Cherish Chen spoke to Collider regarding the news of the upcoming series and expressed excitement over taking the reins for a fan-favorite character. Chen said, quote, "In my humble opinion, there isn't a more fun character to be writing in the Star Wars galaxy than the one and only Dr. Aphra. Cooking up new adventures for her in this new era, throwing her into increasingly tricky moral quandaries, and testing her resolve alongside some familiar faces has truly been like playing in the ultimate sandbox. Our favorite Chaos Agent is back, and I cannot wait for her to share what we've been working on and for you to see all of Gabriel's incredible dynamic art." Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent #1 will be available on June 18th, 2025. The free-to-play hero shooter game Star Wars Hunters, which was released on Nintendo Switch and mobile devices on May 14th, 2024, is shutting down. Despite a warm reception and surprise at the game's quality, the developers have announced that the final content update will be on April 15th, 2025, and the online servers will be shut down as of October 1st, 2025. Now, the developers expressed their gratitude for the players' support and assured them that the decision was not made lightly. They also provided a timeline for the shutdown process. March 25th, 2025 will see Season 5, which will be extended by 3 weeks, and events and shop bundles from the season will be rerun. The ranked season will also be extended. April 15th, 2025, the final content update will be released for free, and in-game purchases will be disabled. The new support hunter Tuya will be made available for free as part of the update. And on October 1st, 2025, the online servers will shut down and the game will no longer be playable. It's always sad when a game goes, but when the game goes just a little over a year from relaunch, that's pretty pretty horrible. Yeah. Pour one out for Star Wars Hunters, I guess. Let's go on to the Star Trek news. Star Trek news begins with Star Trek's Red Shirts, which is finally living up to its destiny as Starfleet's version of the Suicide Squad. The Red Shirts are, of course, the nameless individuals who sadly are used as cannon fodder in many a Star Trek story, Always these sacrificial lambs served to the slaughter while our main characters dodge imminent death. In many ways, the red shirts are like DC's Suicide Squad, who are always one moment away from death, dying in the line of duty or in an explosive detonating in their skull. It's now the red shirts' time to shine with the announcement of a new Star Trek comic series featuring them. Star Trek Red Shirts is a 5-issue limited series by Eisner nominated writer Christopher Cantwell and artist Megan Levines. IDW Publishing calls Star Trek Red Shirts a quote, heart-rending Star Trek story that is unlike anything fans have seen before, unquote. Featuring a brand new team of characters, the Red Shirts are commonly known as Starfleet's fearless and doomed crew members. Now, these intrepid and ill-fated red uniformed individuals finally get their own story, and no one is safe. Who will survive their deadly mission? Star Trek Red Shirts #1 has a cover by Chris Shahan. Star Trek Red Shirts is in honor of the nameless, vaporized, incinerated, and otherwise blown apart, where they're the main characters of a Star Trek style suicide mission unlike any other. According to Chris Cantwell, we'll get to see these. They'll get to know these ensigns and lieutenants infinitely before they are likewise crushed, disrupted, sucked into space. Who will survive? Will any? And what is the true nature of their planet-side mission to hunt down mysterious spies? This is a major Melody original series era story in the key of death, one I've wanted to tell for years, equal parts fun and harrowing, subversive and celebratory of the boldest tunic color one can wear in Starfleet, Security Red. Unquote. Megan Levine's added, Star Trek Red Shirts is a dream project for me, offering the opportunity to draw an entirely new cast of Starfleet officers and then kill them off in delightfully horrific ways. From crusty veterans to fresh-faced but not for long ensigns, these new heroes are charging headfirst into strange new worlds and find that sometimes they're just full of strange new ways to die. Unquote. Now, IDW is adding to its Star Trek line with Star Trek Red Shirts, Star Trek Voyager Homecoming by co-writers Tilly and Susan Bridges and artist Angel Hernandez, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds: The Seeds of Destruction by writer Robbie Thompson and artist Travis Mercer. All three titles come as we approach the release of Star Trek Omega, an oversized one-shot that is the denouncement of IDW's Star Trek comic series and the Star Trek Defiant storylines. So, you know, here's one to the red shirts. Star Trek fans are finally going to get a fitting ending to the beloved series Star Trek Voyager. Now, it's been over 30 years since Star Trek Voyager made its way onto airways, introducing fans to Captain Janeway, Chakotay, Seven of Nine, and the rest of the Voyager crew. As IDW Publishing continues to expand its Eisner nominated Star Trek line, Star Trek Voyager will be one of three new limited series debuting later this year. Star Trek Voyager Homecoming will tune readers into what's happened when the lights went out in the iconic series finale. Star Trek Voyager Homecoming is a 5-issue limited series debuting in September from co-writers Tilly and Susan Bridges and artist Angel Hernandez. The final shot of Star Trek Voyager series was the iconic ship approaching Earth before the screen goes dark, but what if just moments after that, there was one last emergency for the determined Captain Janeway and her brave crew? Now, Star Trek Voyager Homecoming #1 will have a cover by Angel Hernandez and Charlie Kirkhoff. Tilly and Susan Bridges said in the statement, quote, we're so incredibly excited to be writing Star Trek Voyager Homecoming. As lifelong fans, we're delighted to be part of Voyager's 30th anniversary celebration. We can't wait. We can't wait to give Janeway and crew one last adventure. Will everything go smoothly? Well, this is Voyager. Who's to say? We are, but we're going to spoil it. Where's the fun in that? We all spent 7 years getting to know and love this crew, and it's an absolute honor to be part of the team that brings them home. Unquote. I've been working on Star Trek projects for many years, and I've had the opportunity of participating in incredible stories and being a part of exciting adventures, said Angel Hernandez. I'm sure this is going to be one of those special moments that will be a part of the wonderful history of Voyager, and it is an honor to be made a part of it. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 4 is now in production, even though Season 3 still has no premiere date. The official Star Trek social media accounts broke the news on Monday, along with a photo of the main cast on set. The update alarmed many commentators who thought that this must have been some news about the third season. Now they're eager for more details, knowing just how long it's been since they got an update about Season 3 and when it would debut. In the meantime, production getting ahead is ultimately a good thing for the show and its future release schedule. According to the Post, which said, quote, production on season 4 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds is officially underway. The accompanying photos showed cast members Ethan Peck, Cecilia Rose Gooding, and Anson Mount in costume on set. Mount even had the clapper with the show's logo front and center. Now, Strange New Worlds debuted in the spring of 2022 and followed up quickly with a second season in the summer of 2023. Season 3 was ordered just before Season 2 went to air. However, the 2023 Hollywood labor strikes delayed filming. Filming began in December that year and wrapped up in May of 2024 when Paramount officially ordered Season 4 in April. So, you know, Paramount, we need some more. We need the Star Trek. We've got nothing now airing on Paramount Plus. Wasn't the idea supposed to have constant new Star Trek? The keep us on Paramount Plus. You're not really keeping up your end of the bargain now, are you? Anyway, let's go on to the geek news. Geek news begins with the upcoming new Big Bang Theory spinoff from on Max now has a title. Stuart Fails to Save the Universe. The show will delve deeper into the life of Stuart Bloom, who you know as the awkward comic book store owner, portrayed by Kevin Sussman. The title hints at the continuation of Stuart's struggles, suggesting that his misfortunes from the original series may persist in this new chapter. Now, the spin-off will see the return of familiar faces from the Big Bang universe, including Lauren Lapkus as Stuart's girlfriend Denise, Brian Posehn as Bert Keebler, and John Ross Bowie as Barry Kripke. These talented actors, who have talent holding deals with WB-TV, are expected to play significant roles in the series once it receives an official green light. The creative team behind Stuart Fails to Save the Universe boasts impressive credentials. Of course, Chuck Lorre, co-creator and executive producer of The Big Bang and its spin-offs, at the helm. He is joined by Zach Penn and Bill Prady, the latter being the co-creator of the original Big Bang Theory. Now, speculation about a Stuart-centric spin-off has been around since its announcement in April of 2023, with many fans anticipating a focus on Stuart's comic book shop and his personal life. While Stuart often provided comic relief in Big Bang, his character often grappled with loneliness and depression as he navigated his relationships with the group. His fortunes took a turn when he met Denise and forged a close relationship with Raj, offering glimpses of a brighter future. The title, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, aligns with the tradition of other Big Bang Theory spin-offs being named after their young main characters, such as young Sheldon and Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. Furthermore, it is the first spin-off to help to establish a thematic connection to the original Big Bang Theory, which was named after the prominent scientific theory about the universe's origin. So, what do you think about a new series set in the Big Bang universe? I mean, will we see any other main stars from the Big Bang Theory sort of pop in every once in a while? I mean, like the guy who played Raj, he's not doing anything, and he was friends with Stewart, so you know maybe you should have him show up every once in a while. Just saying. For one, I don't know if I'm going to, I might watch it because it's based in the comic book shop, and I have experience in the comic book shop, so I want to see what they get wrong. Trust me. There was a lot in the Big Bang Theory that, they just didn't quite get right. They really do need someone who has actually run a comic book shop to be, a consultant on that series. Anyway, Disney stockholders recently rejected proposals that were aligned with the Make America Great Again movement, indicating a push against attempts to influence corporate governance with conservative ideologies. Now, this occurred despite the company potentially reevaluating its diversity and inclusion programs in response to a growing societal trend towards anti inclusion. During Disney's annual shareholder meeting, investors, and I will, in all fairness, say I am an investor in Disney. I have like one share of stock. They voted against two key proposals. The first proposal sought to end Disney's participation in the Human Rights Campaign Corporate Equality Index, a benchmarking tool for LGBTQ plus workplace equality. Now, conservative groups argued that Disney's perfect score on the CEI since 2007 was harmful to business and that the company was promoting, quote, a divisive agenda, unquote. The Disney board unanimously recommended rejecting this proposal, saying that it wouldn't add value for shareholders. The second proposal aimed to investigate Disney's advertising practices stemmed from concerns about discriminating against platforms with certain political or religious viewpoints, specifically referring to Elon Musk and X, alleging that Disney pulled the advertising from the platform due to an anti Semitic post endorsed by Musk. These rejected proposals highlight the increasing tension between corporate governance and political ideologies, particularly in the current climate where companies face pressure to align with specific political stances to avoid backlash. Now, Disney executives maintain that their primary mission is entertainment, but the company's handling of these proposals demonstrates a commitment to resisting external pressures and maintaining its current practices. The rejection of these proposals also signifies a potential shift in the role of shareholders. Rather than simply focusing on financial returns, shareholders are increasingly concerned with the company's stance on social and political issues. This could lead to a more active role for shareholders in shaping corporate governance and holding companies accountable for their actions. Moreover, the situation with Disney reflects a broader societal debate about the role of corporations in society. While some argue that corporations should focus solely on maximizing profits, others believe they have a responsibility to consider the broader social and environmental impact of their actions. The outcome of this debate will likely have significant implications for the future of corporate governance and the relationship between business and society. Folks, this is the reason why I have stock. One of the reasons. You know, not vowing not to spend money at a place is one thing. If you really want to get their attention, buy stock and vote them out. You can actually change the governance of a company if you and a million other people all vote to get rid of the CEO of the company. That CEO is gone. You have the power. It is more democratic than the actual democracy we're supposedly living in. So, my advice to you, buy a piece of stock. You can buy fractional shares and still get the vote. Anyway, Disney CEO Bob Iger just revealed during the studio's annual shareholder meeting that Coco 2 is happening, with a 2029 release having been set. Quote, while the film is just in the initial stages, we know it'll be full of humor, heart, and adventure, and we can't wait to share more soon, he said. The sequel reteams the team behind the original film, including Oscar-winning director Lee Unkrich and co-director Adrian Molina. Oscar-winning producer Mark Nelson will produce. Disney and Pixar's Coco introduced Miguel, a 12-year-old boy with dreams of becoming a musician despite his family's generations-old ban on music, who ventures to the vibrant land of the dead to unlock the real story behind his family history. Coco won 2 Academy Awards for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song, Remember Me. The film also won a Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Animated, a BAFTA for Best Animated Film, and the Critics' Choice Award for Best Animated Feature and Best Song. Coco made $210.4 million at the domestic box office and $814.6 million worldwide. The amazing thing about the Pix grosses at the time in 2017 was that $189.2 million was made in China. Now, that's who knows if that's even possible anymore, considering the country's kind of put the kibosh on U.S. films, particularly from Disney. And more motion picture news. More than a year after Warner Brothers shelved Coyote versus Acme for tax incentives, the Looney Tunes inspired film is close to finding a new home. Ketchup Entertainment is expected to land distribution rights for Coyote versus Acme, although the sale has not yet closed. The price tag is reportedly $50 million, according to Deadline.com, which broke the news. Ketchup Entertainment, an independent distributor, recently spearheaded the theatrical release of The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, after Warner Bros. Discovery decided to shop that film around as well. The Day the Earth Blew Up opened in theaters on March 14th and has grossed $3.9 million at the domestic box office worldwide. A domestic box office to date. Coyote vs. Acme, live action animation hybrid, will star John Cena and Lana Condor, and was directed by Dave Green and produced by DC Studios co-chiefs James Gunn. Warner Brothers shelved the complete film in November of 2023 as a $30 million tax write-off, prompting outrage from the creative community. The studio allowed the filmmaking team to shop the film to other distributors, among them Amazon Prime Video, Apple, and Netflix screened the movie for consideration, but no deal came to fruition. Now, at the time, Coyote vs. Acme was the third casualty of Warner Brothers' post-pandemic cost-cutting measures. About a year earlier, Warner Bros. Shocked the entertainment industry by shelving the $90 million DC adventure Batgirl and the kid-friendly Scoob Holiday Haunt as tax write-offs. All three films were greenlit under the studio's former boss, Jason Kellar, who departed the company in April of 2022. Ketchup Entertainment was founded in 2012 and has released independent films such as Michael Keaton's comedy Goodrich, Ben Affleck's thriller Hypnotic, and Jessica Chastain's drama Memory. So, you know, this sounds, like a good film. Release this film. Of course, it's going to bite that John Cena's right now currently a heel in the WWE, which will make promoting it via the WWE a little hard. All those kids. But if they do it after this stunt stops, and he retires, maybe they'll have a shot. Amazon and Sony Television's Vought Rising, a prequel to The Boys, has cast Elizabeth Posey from Euphoria and Heels in a leading and undisclosed role. She joins Jensen Ackles and Aya Cash, who star and executive produce, and will reprise their roles from The Boys as Soldier Boy and Stormfront, respectively. Vought Rising was awarded to series by Prime Video last summer, with Mothership series executive producer Paul Groening set as showrunner of the one-hour drama offshoot from franchise developer Eric Kripke. Will Hockman will also join the series, according to Variety. Johnny Rico is coming back to kill some more bugs. Columbia Pictures is plotting a new Starship Troopers movie, setting District 9 filmmaker Neil Blomkamp to write and direct an adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel by Robert A. Heinlein. Now, Blomkamp has also produced the feature alongside Terry Tatchell, his partner and wife, who co-wrote the South African filmmakers District 9 and 2015 outing Chappie. Published in 1959, Troopers ostentatiously told of an interstellar war between Earth and a host of bug-like aliens, and focused on the rise of a military serviceman named Johnny Rico. But the story had other things in mind, like exploring the strengths of life in a military society, and such ideas as having to perform service in order to have voting rights. Now, while the book won a Hugo Award for Best Novel and has been quite influential in sci-fi literature, some quarters described the book as fascist. It was that tone that was satirized in the 1997 movie from Paul Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, and Showgirls. Verhoeven was over the top in his depiction of the military jingoism and propaganda, fetishized costumes, and highlighted Nazi influences. Rico was played by square-jawed roughneck Casper Van Dien, and the cast included Dana Meyer, Denise Richards, Neil Patrick Harris, and Michael Ironside. Now, while the movie was not initially a success, and some critics accused Verhoeven of putting a positive spin on fascism, the movie has since developed a reprisal and a cult following. Blomkamp's take is not a remake of the Verhoeven movie, and sources say the goal is to go back to the source material. Blomkamp most recently directed Gran Turismo for Sony Pictures, a critical and commercial success that grossed over $122 million worldwide. Blomkamp Anyway, Netflix has confirmed a Willy Wonka TV show, but that isn't what some folks might have been expecting. Titled The Golden Ticket, the project is a competition show in which people attempt to find the golden ticket so they can visit Willy Wonka's famous chocolate factory. Per the show's logline, quote, contestants will be forced to adapt, strategize, and withstand the unknown in order to come out on top. The competition takes place in a, quote, retro futuristic dreamscape and consists of numerous challenges that push contestants to their limits. Netflix is hosting an open casting call for participants, and those interested can apply on the streamer's website. Hard pass. American Dad will soon be airing on Fox again. Variety has confirmed that 20th Television Animation and Fox Entertainment are nearing a deal to bring the long-running animated sitcom back to the broadcast network, which it launched back in 2005. The deal would most likely be a multi-season pickup. The show has aired nearly 400 episodes to date. News of the Fox deal comes as American Dad is preparing to air its last original episodes on TBS, which has been the show's home since 2014. Reruns of American Dad will continue to air on TBS and fellow Warner Bros. Discovery Networks, Adult Swim, and True TV until at least 2030. The show was last picked up for 2 seasons at TBS in 2021 prior to the completion of the Warner Bros. Discovery merger. With the end of American Dad on TBS, the network will now truly have no more scripted original programming. Those scripted originals were largely axed at TBS and other T-nets under the David Zaslav regime at Warner Bros. Discovery. American Dad was created by Seth MacFarlane and Mike Baker and Matt Weitzman, and was run by the co-showrunners Weitzman and Brian Boyle, and is produced by 20th Television Animation. It will now be the second MacFarlane series to return to Fox. Previously, Family Guy aired on the network before being canceled, but strong DVD sales and reruns on Adult Swim drove Fox to get the show back. American Swim will no doubt return to Fox's animation domination block on Sunday night, where it will join fellow animation stalwarts Family Guy, The Simpsons, and Bob's Burgers. And with that, we come to the end of our show. Now, please be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter and Blue Sky at Multiverse Tom, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram as well at Multiverse Tonight. And if you've gotten some value out of the show and would like to pay it back, head on over to multiversetonight.com. You will find the Patreon and Ko-fi links. Check out our show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and leave some feedback, and so much more. And if this is your first time listening, thank you and welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and share us with others. Now, thanks to Hot Dope for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching this edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more sci-fi and comic book news. Now, please exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Comic Book Tonight is a production of Half Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. This podcast is brought to you by the Pop Culture Podcast Network.